Welcome to round 4 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of January 11th. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hi.
And Nicole Eridix.
Hi there.
As moms of teens and young adults, we've survived those little kid days, yet we're still rethinking the decisions we've made all through our kids' lives and worrying about what's going on right now. Today's Thursday, which means it's time to give in to our obsessing. And today we're obsessing about jobs and careers we might be thinking about now that we have fewer responsibilities to drive kids places and fewer kids in the house. Of course, with the pandemic schooling situation, that maybe has reverted for some of us, but back on homework supervising detail. But still, as things change, we've all had the benefit of being able to freelance and still keep our hands in professionally while being really, really available to our families. Many parents do that in different ways, but as the nest empties out a little bit, have you been thinking about doing different things, going into an office? I gotta tell you, I've interviewed in offices, and as I've said on this podcast before, everybody in them is young and attractive, and I would not want to be. I don't fit into the workplace now. I'm the person that you have working out of her house, and you send her work, and she sends it back, and you don't actually have to, deal with her. I would be sitting there clucking at all the young people doing their young people things.
Clucking.
But is there something that, if you could snap your fingers and do something different, like without having to go back to school or, do whatever preparation you would need?
I have from time to time in my career done the thing where you just go do something that requires absolutely no creative thought at all. Like I was freelancing for a number of years, and then I got a job as a secretary, and I just sat at a desk, I typed letters, it was glorious. And then I got bored with it, and I went back to my creative stuff. So every now and then I will stop and take a job that has nothing to do with writing or editing. So I do think of that sometimes. I signed up like for the Amazon job search for my son, and so they text, every day they text, jobs, we got so many jobs, $15, $20 an hour, come. And I think, could I go work in a warehouse? Maybe I could go work in a warehouse. Maybe I could just fill Amazon orders for the day.
Can I see you in the warehouse?
Yeah, I need to call them and say, do you have things for very short, fragile, elderly ladies?
You could be like driving the forklift.
I could go around with a scanner. I could scan things. Boop. There we go. They need a scanner, right?
You might not like what you're scanning, according to sir. But I hear Amazon sells a lot of.
Sometimes it sounds nice. I just think, you go, you do some work, you come home, you watch TV, you don't have more freelancing stuff sitting on your desk, you don't have that thing of the more work I do, the more money I'll make, so I should stay up till 3. You can come home, you can eat some dinner, you can watch some TV, you can go to bed. It's very appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Just, basic bedrock work.
The 9 to 5.
9 to 5, even part-time,
This is what I was saying to you, Terry, once that, I see those like vans that drive medical stuff around, like lab specimens.
You want to be the medical waste lady.
No, I think they do, they take samples from the doctor's office to the lab or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so this is me driving around by myself, like listening to podcasts or whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
You get some exercise because you're walking back and forth in and out of the buildings all day.
Mm-hmm.
You
get a little bit of human interaction, but not too much. See, this sounds good to me.
Yeah. It really does. You have an actual definite thing to do. You walk in, you deliver the stuff, you leave. You walk in, you pick up the stuff, you leave. Everything is very cut and dry. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but I also think going back to if you could do it, without having had any previous training or whatever, I think something in the medical field would be interesting. I could never have hacked any of the science or math classes that it would have required to do that.
Yeah.
But I think I'd be good at the actual, talking to people, thinking, I have a pretty good memory, so I would be able to remember certain, diagnoses or put that puzzle together kind of thing. So, and it would be nice to help people in that way. So
too much pressure for me. I mean, it's like if I screw up in my editing, it's maybe embarrassing for my client and maybe I lose my gig, but nobody dies. So I kind of like that.
It's not a very high stakes.
There should have been an Oxford comma there and there wasn't. Oh no.
Now this is dead.
This is the kind of stress I can deal with.
How about you, Nicole?
I don't know. I think, there were quite a few different things I thought I would want to do when I was younger, but I think as I get older, I think I would still want to be in the education field, but maybe in a different role. Maybe something more at the district level as opposed to being in the classroom. Or, I don't know. The other thing too actually is kind of appealing is working in, like, not necessarily like kind of some sort of movie or film production, but on the back end, like the creative side of it. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. That's always kind of appealed to me. Like whether it's voice or I don't know, just kind of something, making props, putting sets together, costumes. There's that kind of piece that always kind of appealed to me. Too in a
that could be interesting
way.
Yeah,
it would be it would be a hard job, I think, to have because the hours would be long and it would probably be contracts, so you're working nonstop for a certain amount of time and then there's nothing, right? Like, but I think just the job itself would be kind of just fun to brainstorm and get creative. And, I don't know.
Terry found a video about the costume design on Bridgerton, and it was so interesting.
Really?
Just because there's so much involved in terms of research. And, for that, because it was a historical drama, but for any film, all that stuff about either set or props or costumes, like really expressing the story through those things. Yeah. It's so interesting.
Yeah. And get yourself something like Bridgerton where they basically say you have an unlimited budget, make a bunch of pretty dresses.
Make like thousands of pretty dresses.
And some breeches as well, but still mostly pretty dresses.
Yeah. So that's that would be, that's something I thought about too.
It sounds interesting.
Or making educational materials. I think something creative.
My husband started his college. He started out majoring in film and TV editing. And he didn't end up doing it because someone basically told him, like, this is really hard. You'll probably never make any money. So he switched to advertising. But I always think, like, because he is creative and he does like to, I mean, I don't know if you'd call it working with your hands, but like where you have a project and you do it and you see the outcome right away. And, that kind of thing. I know that really appeals to him. So a lot of times I think about maybe he should have.
That's one of those jobs that's really cool and really important. And sometimes you will hear people like directors talk about what a difference the editor made and, how, certain editors are really, really well respected, but boy, you are invisible to everybody else. You get no credit. Yeah. You could completely shape something that would have been nothing without you. And yet everybody else is going to get the credit for it. So you'd have to be the kind of person who doesn't care about that. Yeah. Which I guess I think there are people like that just they want to do.
Maybe they get credit in the industry though, and not so much like
that's true.
Facing.
They get
facing credit.
Yeah. The ones who are really good get credit.
The ones who worked on The Good Place got to be on the podcast.
That's true. That's right. And oftentimes to enact roles as well.
That's true.
I think. Didn't they? Various creative people on that show got to be demons of some sort or another.
I think that was more writers, but
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like the behind the scenes stuff. Like, how do they?
Right.
How do they do that?
Yeah.
So, if we could do it all over again, would we? Isn't that the question?
I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now, to be honest.
Yeah. I saw the other day a job posted, and I was like, I could do that job. Like, I'd be good at that. I could do it. And it would sure be nice to have benefits, have a steady paycheck, etc. Then I'm like, do I? I don't think I would. Like, I just am not prepared for the number of hours
Yeah.
and the sort of different kind of pressure that comes
Right.
from being on stuff like that. So
Yeah. And it's something that a lot of us have to think about too at this age because, our lives are changing
Right.
and our kids are not needing us as much. We're able to do more things as, I think like the options kind of open up in a way. And so we kind of have to decide, is that something I want to do? Isn't
Yeah.
it?
right.
But I think overall I have to say I'm happy where I'm at. I'm glad that I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'd like to continue to see where that goes.
And of course, we've all branched out into the exciting world of podcasting, which is hip and hot and
have.
happening.
Yes.
Look
and
at
so
us.
lucrative.
Yes.
So it's lucrative in the discussions and thought-provoking conversations that
See,
have come our way.
you would have been good as a creative, Nicole, because that's the attitude you have to have.
Yes. But seriously, podcasting is fun.
Yay.
Yay for us. So that's it for today's round 4. Tune in tomorrow when we'll share our roundabout roundup of things we've been using or enjoying lately that we think deserve a shout out. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.